They just broke the long-range Warzone meta again.
What?
If you played Modern Warfare 3's Warzone, you're familiar with aftermarket parts. Well, this week we have received our first, essentially, aftermarket part for Black Ops 6's version of Warzone, and it's a big mistake. Now, I'm going to go into why it's a big mistake, but the first off is how do you get it and what does it do?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
So up first is how do you get it? So part of the brand new event that was released just 4 days ago, the hit list, it'll be 5 days ago by the time most of you see this. But the hit list allows you to unlock the brand new drill and a bunch of other little things here. But then there's a community challenge. And with the community challenge, you unlock a variety of things. Up first that you unlock is the buffer weight stock. And this is essentially enough the first aftermarket part for the weapons inside of Black Ops 6. And at first, it doesn't look like that's much. But what really lets you know what is going on with all of this is when you actually take a look at the weapons themselves and you really consider what this does. So this is an aftermarket part for the DM10, the XMG, and the XM4. The XM4 and the XMG are going to be the ones that are going to be the most problematic for how this is about to work. So one of the things you can do, if you don't know already, with right trigger or 2 on your keyboard and mouse, you can pull up the stats and figure out what each attachment does. So normally right now, most people are running like Compensator, you'll see has a 31% recoil kick and a 35% vertical recoil control. Underbarrel, something like the vertical grip, is 6 for kick and 40% for horizontal control. If you run over here and use the Jason Armory, Willis 3X, Prismatech 4X, or Dobrik, you can get a 30% reduction on kick. So people are running a lot of times the 2X. So right there, you can get 55%, 40%, and 35% for your recoil kick, horizontal recoil control, and vertical recoil control. Or now, because of this wonderfully added stock, you can start off with 32-60-30, meaning that this one stock almost completely replaces the underbarrel grip and one of the vertical attachments or kick attachments that you have for the gun. Why are we on this already?
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
So it took almost until the season 3 or 4 before we ever got the Quartermaster, which was a pretty much end-all, beat-all best choice for every gun in the game. It took a long time before we started getting attachments that made everything have nothing for recoil. We did get the Jack BFB, but it had insane stat reductions. This one, not so much. So when you replace all of your needed recoil options with one single option, you're immediately skewing these weapons inside of the meta. And we're about to enter the XM4 XMG meta pretty much yesterday, because that is when it was unlocked. So now with the buffer weight stock, you can still run all those other recoil control attachments to get just an insane stat boost on the number of recoil reductions going on. Meaning that if you run this with the gain twist barrel and overpressured, you've got a 1200 meter bullet velocity on a gun with an absolute 0 for recoil. And then you can throw on top of that a 100 round mag. And then if you want to just make it a little bit even more painful for people to fight you, you can then, of course, run about anything else that you really want to, because it doesn't really matter. We're going to put on the commando grip here. So what you turn the XM4 into is an absolute laser beam. We don't need this. We just got rid of an entire laser beam of duty from Modern Warfare 3. We don't need this again, because right now the TTK in this game up close is absolutely blazing, but at least over long ranges we were having a little bit more time to react. But now that you've taken this gun, made its bullet velocity insane, and remove all recoil from it, you've got the issue that people are about to get completely destroyed across the map as it is already. Omni Movement also has recently slowed down players, despite the fact that Omni Movement was touted around the idea of speeding up the player's choices of being able to move around. Omni Movement, by its greater design, has actually slowed down players' actions because either A, they're adjusting to Omni Movement, or B, because of the removal of all the Modern Warfare 3 default perks, meaning as you slide, it takes longer to recover than it did did back in Modern Warfare 3. So even if you turn off the dive and you just start sliding right now, and you'll be seeing in no time that the actual recovery from doing these actions is significantly slower than it was in Modern Warfare 3, meaning that your bob and weave, your dives and such, all of that is actually quite a bit slower than what you're used to. And weapons like this are about to absolutely punish players because it's harder to get away from these things. And if you do get caught in a slide or in a dive, it actually follows an extremely predictable pattern now because it's harder to cancel and move out of it as well, especially for not as, veteran level players that don't play this game all the time. And this gun is going to absolutely destroy any of the long range meta competitors right now. Snipers are about to run into an absolute nuisance, and of course that's one of the things that made me realize it at first, trying to fight this. Massive magazines, high rate of fire, snipers already flinch a ton and don't guarantee a one-shot headshot at all ranges, actually pretty short ranges. So right now, this weapon's bullet velocity of 1260 means it has a hit scan range of 63 meters, which is tied for a lot of the sniper rifles one-shot range, and that's hit scan. That's not just like effective range, that's hit scan range of 1260. So you're gonna be absolutely dealing with this high level nuisance. Now, with that being said, again, this isn't just for the XM4, so this also fits into the XMG. And because I'm such a kind fellow, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to build that one out too. If you don't know how, it's the exact same way, because in the Black Ops style of gameplay, all of the attachments are basically the same across all the weapons, meaning you only have to go across and do the same things for most weapons to get the same results. Except for the difference here is you're gonna have a 200 round mag instead of a 100 round mag, and you'll have even less recoil because the XMG has even less recoil comparatively. So now you've got a 200 round mag with an extremely high bullet velocity that continues to just fire for infinity, for a ton of damage. And so I'm going to tell you right now that if you're not running these, you're probably going to be missing out. Most everyone's going to be running this real soon, especially if anyone who finds this is going to probably start running it, I would imagine. There's not many guns that are going to be able to compete with this. If you're running something like the Jackal, pairing the Jackal right now with the XMG, you're probably going to be really hard to contest. Rapid fire Jackal XMG or rapid fire Jackal and XM4, you're gonna be a nuisance. You'll see over here on the side, it's right beside my camera right here, right around where my finger's at. Horizontal recoil kick 1.34 degrees. That's absolutely nothing. Recoil kick 5.2 degrees. Absolutely nothing. Vertical is the highest point you have, and as you continue to fire, it doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't. So yeah, and so that goes on it as well. And then for those of you who are like me and like to punish yourself, you can actually run this on the DM10, and this is gonna go to help you be able to at least control a bit of it. The DM10 does have a bit of recoil, and it kind of wobbles a bit. So this is gonna actually make this gun a little bit more usable. So this is the only gun I really feel like comes out of this in at least more of a functioning state than it was before. The other ones were already good, so it's not like those were really suffering any, but man, this is gonna make those other guns absolutely nutty. Now, don't forget the DM10 is actually a marksman rifle that uses sniper ammo, so this is not going to be something you're going to be able to just spam until world's end. And then because the kick and reset on this gun is still pretty high, you won't be able to like just destroy people across range like you will with a lot of the other ones. But this one will still be fun. I mean, if you like marksman rifles, this may be your DMR 14 return meta. Especially if you start learning how to control the recoil. The damage is pretty decent at pretty much all ranges. I mean, you'll see it's 98 to the head, 76 to the neck and to the upper chest, 68 to the lower body, meaning if you're landing chest shots, it is a 4-tap. If you're landing headshots, it is a 4-tap. So, and then if you're landing legs or anything below that, it's pretty much 5. Well, middle section, it's about 5, and then once you get to legs, it's 6. So this is a gun that has a potential to be really good, but honestly, if you're running a marksman rifle or a sniper, you're really at a loss for most full auto weapons in the game right now, just because of the way the guns have been balanced. So I wouldn't say necessarily run the DM10, but if you want to have some fun, the DM10 is a good time. But yeah, so this is information I just thought was going to be really important. I really should share with you all, because the sooner that we get a hold of this, the sooner it gets abused. The sooner it gets abused, hopefully the sooner this gets rectified. I think that the stock came out a little bit too strong, and we're going to really be dealing with it here. Hopefully it can get either adjusted or or whatever before the holidays. Otherwise, what's going to end up happening is this buffer stock is going to absolutely take over the meta, and I don't know how long we'll be able to enjoy this. If you just didn't enjoy the D tier meta, this is about to be the basically high rate of fire equivalent of that. So yeah, good luck, have fun. Now, of course, having the best weapons in the game is wonderful, but if you don't know what to do with your perks, you may be throwing your games. But don't worry, I've got you covered right over there.